great. Hey, guys. All right, it is Thursday, and I'm here with Lenny, and we have on our orange and blue in case we get some Gator fans out there.
Or Mets fans. Confused me when I moved to Florida. I thought, man, there's Met fans everywhere. Everything was orange and blue.
Yeah.
It took me a half a year to realize they were Gator fans.
There's not that many Mets fans.
No.
Yeah, so sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
But it is Thursday. It is our last day of Bollocks. We got a great show. We got some fun conversations going on. We're talking about inconsistencies of the internet. We've been bouncing back and forth for the last 30 minutes. We throw out a topic, and then we defend each side of it. Yeah.
And we got it.
Everything's there.
Right.
Everything's there. However you want to defend it.
We can find an answer.
It's right there. Whichever, you tell me which side you want me to be on, I got you. So, but first off, we got to talk about our amazing, we both agree on this.
That we are in the Beaux-Arts Ford studio? Absolutely where we are.
And we have amazing sponsors, starting off with numero uno.
Oh, down lower. Right.
Down there.
Down there, yeah.
All right. Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine, their goal is to make sure your time and experience buying a car is stress-free, fun, and enjoyable. Beaux-Arts is a family-owned Ford dealership that has been in business since 1949. Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln has been the recipient of numerous dealer awards, including being ranked #1 automotive dealership in the nation by Dealer Rater. Beaux-Arts Ford also has won back-to-back President's Awards, which is the highest honor given by Ford Motor Company. Check them out today online at beaux-artsford.com.
For over 30 years, Land Title of America has been St. Augustine's trusted name in title insurance and real estate closings. Locally owned by Stephen Collins, this family-run company blends personalized service with cutting-edge technology to ensure smooth, accurate closings. No call centers, no hassles, just real people ready to answer your questions and meet you where it's most convenient. Located at 100 South Park Boulevard, or text Stephen directly at 904-501-4481. Land Title of America, your local title company insuring America's land one title at a time, and you can catch them Wednesdays after our show here in the Beaux-Arts Ford studio.
All right. A.D. Davis Construction. When quality matters, trust A.D. Davis Construction, North Florida's expert in high-end homes, commercial builds, renovations, and historic restorations. With over 71 years of experience, their dedicated team delivers craftsmanship you can count on and relationships built on trust. They don't build buildings, they build confidence with integrity, performance, and results that keep over 85% of their clients coming back. That number is actually higher. From concept to completion, choose A.D. Davis Construction, where your vision meets their legacy of excellence.
It's a beautiful night out, so you should eat, drink, and be Irish at Meehan's Irish Pub and Seafood House, right on the waterfront in downtown St. Augustine. Whether you're craving classic corned beef and cabbage, fresh seafood from the Royal Bar, or their famous bangers and mash, Meehan's is where locals and visitors feel right at home. Grab a pint in their cozy Irish pub, unwind upstairs at Johnny's Oyster Bar with stunning views of the Matanzas River, or kick back in the backyard with tropical vibes and a Caribbean-inspired menu. The pints are cold, the food's unforgettable, and the welcome is always warm, only at Meehan's.
All right, Lenny, we got some great topics here, but we got our other sponsors. We have other amazing sponsors,
nice
A to Z Roofing, Anastasia and Moultrie Creek Diner, Mr. Electric, Brightway Insurance, St. Augustine Pirate Museum, The Saint, Anastasia Construction Group, Solar Stick, Abear Kresge and Associates, Powell Heating and Air, but us not forget Kaiser's Deli and Market and the St. Augustine Distillery. Appreciate you guys, and we are so grateful to you that we get to stay on the air and just pass along the knowledge that pops through our head and in front of our screens.
Our bon mots, our witticisms.
Witticisms.
Our witty repartee.
Yes, what he said. What he said right there. All right. So we're talking about inconsistencies. What started the conversation is I wanted to see the rankings of education systems in the U.S. Well, I didn't expect to see U.S. #1. I expected to see some of the smaller countries, which, really focus on it and stuff. But a lot of the ones I went to had U.S. #1, and then the other ones had them at 31.
Right.
So the inconsistency was like, all right, who's doing these rankings?
What are the standards they're using? And, what's the parameters?
Is it the Jaguar fans or is it the Kansas City Chief fans? Because that's 1 to 31 right there.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah.
But I just found it really mind-boggling. I started with one topic, and then it ended up spiraling into the inconsistencies.
Welcome to a rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, that's how our rabbit hole starts. But Blake, I guess we're just jumping right into inconsistencies. So sorry, I kind of
pick one, Blake. What are you gonna go with?
What do you think we should go with?
And inconsistencies.
Yeah, on the internet. Well, I agree, Blake. Thank you for picking that.
You're welcome.
He's right on top of it.
And Devil would say, much like how my beard looks right now compared to this morning, there definitely is a lot of inconsistencies out there on the internet.
Yeah. Oh no. I and I'll tell you the truth. Rebecca asked if you got a haircut when we saw you today, and I thought it was the same thing. I thought he got a haircut. He shaved his beard.
All right.
So,
Meanie.
it's a very drastic difference when I do it. But because you're a young guy, I don't think it's as drastic with you. You look great, but I don't think the difference is as drastic. I don't think I've ever seen you without a beard.
It's frightening.
Is it? Yeah, you have no chin. You just have like a.
Not so much, yeah.
Yeah, you just have like a neck that just starts and goes to your mouth with no chin. All right, but we're talking inconsistencies in the internet and how wild it is where you can do one Google search and come up with 8 different answers for what your Google search.
Yep.
And that's one of the problems. Like we do trivia, and some nights the questions are not good, and we use our own questions.
Right.
And then we ask the question, internet sends us answers, and we're like, okay, let's check that.
Yeah.
So, and that's why if you see Blake, Aiden, and I all on our phones at the same time, you know what's going on. We're checking, and then we're verifying 2 other times.
Well, the other trouble is after you ask the question, people put in their answers. People will check on their phone to look to see if they got it right and come up with something completely different, which I know you love in particular.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically me against the internet in some of those things, and I win some of them.
Yeah,
I win some of them because they miss the technicality of the question a lot of times. It's after World War II, and they put something before World War II. I don't think that was before then.
Dates matter.
Yeah. So one of the things that we were looking at, and I was looking at 2 particular things. We were looking at school system rankings, and in one of them it had like Denmark ranked one of the highest. And then in all the other ones, it had them ranked like 14th. And then in several, it had U.S. as number 1. But in the other one, it had it as 31.
Yeah, that's the one that I found, which is, when I went looking, because I didn't believe that U.S. was still number 1 any longer.
Yeah. But I mean, I showed you right on the list, and I said, and then it had, on mine, it actually had a 1 and then a 31 on that list, which, makes no sense whatsoever. Because right here it's got, this one has on one list, and these lists are side by side. It has United States 1, and then on the other list 31.
Right.
All right. It has United Kingdom 2 and 12, Germany 3 and 7, Canada 4 and 19, France 5 and 16, Switzerland 6 and 28, Japan is 7 and then 6. That's the closest ones together. And then Australia, 8 and 17, Sweden, 9 and 15, Denmark, 10th, and then, it was second. I thought it was first. Second on that one. And then Netherlands, 11 and 3rd. Norway is 12th and 9th, and Finland is 13th and 8th.
But I think what a lot of that was when we looked at it, or when I looked at it, was this year versus last year. We were 1 last year.
Yeah, but these both say 24.
Okay.
This one both says 24. And on this one, it has South Korea as 18 and then number 1 on the other list. Now, I have I think South Korea is okay. But I think they're okay.
Hardcore.
But I mean, you think they're, I can't even see them being ahead of Japan.
No,
see, I was expecting, and I can tell you,
South Korea is rigid.
I was thinking Japan was going to be number 1. I really did. And China was further down on both lists than I expected. I thought them both to be, I thought they would be in the top 10.
Okay.
Because the Chinese business people that I work with are very, very sharp people for the most part, percentage wise. But I'm assuming that we're getting the best of the best when
Yeah,
we're
for sure.
having that conversation. So it's probably not. It's probably has more to do with the control group in that situation. But it's
Well-
got China like here is it's 21 and 13. You know, so it's so sporadic.
Right.
Is where so I there's I still don't have my answer. Is what my
Well, we
argument
needed
is.
to probably set up different criteria. You know, it's when you start doing parentheses and brackets to try to limit down. And I'm not a spreadsheet kind of guy to figure that sort of stuff out. But I do know that South Korea puts a tremendous impetus on education, and the pressure for these kids to get into school, stay into school, get into the proper school is mind-boggling. And, you know, I mean, they're studying, they're in classes many hours a day. I think more than we in particular, you know.
Yeah, but that's proven to not result in also intellect.
No, it's just sort of,
I mean, that's been proven that if you overwork, like if you over educate, you take away the free thinking, and then the free thinking is what creates the brilliance.
oh, I'm going to just write that down and save that for another day, taking away the free thinking in American education today. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no,
Because that's being taken away.
Well, I don't know. I think it's been taken away a long time ago, even going back to the 70s.
Well, yeah, but I'm being much more
Guess
contemporary
what happened in
and
the
local.
70s? Oh, that's when
That's
that's when the federal government got involved in education.
Well, I'm just talking locally now because, you know, you hear the word indoctrination being tossed around
Mhm.
like, you know, like the schools are you know, propagandizing students.
Mhm.
And I find that so humorous in the fact that, you know, especially in this state, governor screams indoctrination. You say, "Hi, governor, how are you?" Indoctrination! Gotta lighten up there, Ron. Calm down a little bit, please. And then he turns around and sets up a process where he wants to indoctrinate children into his process. So
I want an example of that.
okay.
Because if we're talking about the books I've
Well,
seen taken,
no,
if we're
it's less
talking
than the
about the
books.
books, because I'm against censorship.
Absolutely.
All right. But
Agreed.
the person who's buying the books for education, there are kids that should not be reading those books until their brain has developed further.
Grade level.
That
sure.
is not censorship. All right. That is being responsible.
Right.
All right. So and he's taking a lot of bullets from his opposition side. And if you look at the list of books that have been removed,
There's some bizarre ones on that
there
list.
are some that how they got in the school system in any way, shape, or form, I have no idea.
But there's also some bizarre books being banned.
Uh,
You know,
Well, and one of the things, one of our topics later today that I have is most controversial movies,
right.
and there's some really wackadoodle stuff there. Kids shouldn't be watching the movies we're going to give you.
Well, that's why there's a rating.
Mhm.
You know, bad enough they added the PG-13 to sort of gloss it over a little bit. But by the same token, children are exposed to so much more, so much earlier nowadays, and I think that's part of an issue.
Well,
It really
it's
is.
this. It's that internet
Yeah. It's
inconsistency.
taking
too.
away a lot of their childhood. Go outside and run around, and as we were talking earlier, eat dirt. You'll be healthier.
Yeah. No. And I think we talked a little bit about it with the alpha generation. I think the alphas have an advantage over the millennials and over
The Alpha's the most recent.
alphas like born after like 2011, I think.
Okay.
So I think they're like up to 15 years old or something like that. But they seem to be a little more tougher, a little more resilient, and because it's the
You're
millennials
talking intellectually or emotionally, not physically.
emotionally and physically. They seem to be a little more aggressive, which I'm okay with too.
Okay.
So and I don't want to pick on the millennials or the Gen Xers. Are you an Xer, Blake? You're a Z.
You're a Gen Xer.
I mean a
Gen
Z.
Z.
You're a Gen Z. And Gen Y is the millennials.
Yes.
Gen X followed the boomers,
Yeah, no, Gen X followed the boomers.
so that's
Yeah,
you.
that's
Okay.
me. You're a boomer,
Correct.
and then you had like the silent generation or the greatest
Greatest
generation.
generation, yeah.
Generation.
And that was a long span too.
Yeah, and then came the millennials, Gen Y, then Z, and now Alpha, and I think Beta starting now.
I'm gonna need to make myself a crib sheet for that. I really am.
And the thing is, inconsistencies on the internet. You can see 6 different rankings of when each one starts too, but it's one of those situations. Alphas seem to be a little more like F it type kids.
Okay. And they shouldn't be using that word at 11 years old.
Some of them are.
I'm sure.
I definitely was. I wasn't using it properly, but I was using it because I knew it was a bad word. I was. But the millennials and the Zs are a little more sensitive to feelings, sensitive to
You calling them snowflakes?
yes, they're very snowflakey. They're very you know you are. If you don't, then talk to your therapist about it. So
See, it's because they had to put up with all the bullying.
So yeah, no, well, that's the whole thing. They didn't have bullying.
What?
They didn't have as much bullying.
Which
well, no, like
which cohort are we talking about?
In Gen X, the bullies had to be handled by the kids.
Okay.
In Gen Z and millennials, it went to teachers.
Which was parents abrogating their responsibility to the teachers to raise their children and get pissed when the kids didn't come out right.
Yep. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. The alphas, I think the alphas are more of a, they're going to be more of a defend themselves type kids. They're going to be a little more feral.
You don't think they're going to necessarily be a little bit more insulated in the fact that they're looking at everything on a small screen or a tablet? Because I think that becomes problematic.
I think the Zers are a little more attached than even the alphas. I think the Z parents and the millennial parents are doing a better job than the Gen X parents did.
But I think that, and again, my frame of reference is just anecdotal. I think that nowadays, young children are pacified with a tablet, a laptop, a game box. Well, certainly at a young age when they're in a car, when they're going out to dinner. How many times have you been out to dinner and seen children at another table, and they're absolutely enthralled with the tablet? That's
what I'm saying. The Gen Xers, because we were left alone to do our own thing. Yeah. But
we weren't taking out to dinner.
Gen Xers didn't take into account the technology of leaving them alone to do it. So we would put tablets in front of our kids, and we probably hurt our kids by doing
it. When the boys were younger?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They had that stuff. Okay. So I mean, and we kind of used technology as a replacement for parenting, and I think the Gen Z, the older Gen Zs and the millennials are doing a better job than the Gen Xers.
Okay.
Yeah, the millennials are after the Gen Xers.
Right.
So born after 81. I think they're doing a better job of making their kids live life.
Which is good.
Which is great.
No,
but I mean, the way I was raised, I mean, it was get out of the house.
Go play.
And, if you need water, drink it out of the hose. That was a real thing.
I can still taste it.
You could still taste a little bit of the metal and the dirt in it.
Yep.
And, it's one of those situations that I think it's the Gen X's fault why the millennials are the way they and I'm trying to compliment and still pick on them at the same time.
That's your backhanded compliment.
The millennials and Zs are doing a better job with the alphas than we did with them. So we did our kids a little dirty in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'm concerned going forward because, I mean, I have a neighbor who's got 2 exceedingly bright children. I mean, these kids I want to buy stock in both of them now.
Yeah.
Because they're just literally one of them is very bright, and the other kid is just off the freaking charts bright.
Mm-hmm.
And well,
I have one of those.
Yeah,
I have one sitting in that other room right there.
Yeah,
but ask him to change your tire. I failed him.
What?
I failed him.
Okay,
Blake, how many tires have you changed in your life?
0.
All right. How often have you changed the oil?
0.
See,
Hey, well-
I failed that kid. That's not on him.
Why? Okay.
That's not on you.
Why-
That's on me.
Why do I say that? Okay, so maybe are you really sure that that's just you saying that you failed me, or it was basically just more as like, okay, we have a lot more ways to change a tire now than just changing it on the side of the damn road.
Well, well, no, I mean you grew up in your mom and I both had some success, and we didn't want you to have the need for anything, and because we didn't force the other things. Now if a tire goes flat, who's changing it? Me or you? You're 24 years old. I'm 58.
Let's not answer that question.
Okay, no. I mean, it's legitimate of what I'm saying in this argument. You understand what I'm saying?
Don't forget to chalk the other side.
Yeah. So,
Ah.
but I mean, it's legitimate to what I'm saying. It's completely. I had opportunities to do it. You and I spent a lot of time together. I mean, we went to games. We did a lot of fun stuff, but I didn't teach you how to swing a hammer. So
Wait, hold on.
then he just scared me. Then he just showed me a picture of himself without a beard.
I'm actually better looking. I'm actually better looking than I thought here.
Hold on.
It's not that.
Wait,
It's
hold
not
on.
that
Not at
scary.
all.
So you never seen me swing a hammer? You never seen me use a hammer before?
Yeah, I've seen you swing a hammer, but I never taught you how to swing a hammer. You tap. You don't finish a hammer. You got to finish the hammer to make the nail actually move.
No, okay.
I can nail in a nail in about 3 or 4 hits compared to your 18. And that's because I never taught you how to do that.
Why? Because you might be worried if I actually do try to swing, I might accidentally hit the drywall to the right of it.
That too. But
Okay.
I mean, do you understand my point though? I mean,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, like to this day, we still do stuff, and then I'm like, oh, get out. I still do it to you,
Yes.
and I shouldn't do that, but I still do it. So, but that's the Gen X mentality.
You should be getting on my ass for that kind of stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
But there is like limits to it. It's like, come on, like, are you really gonna get me for like how I hold the broom a little bit differently and how I sweep up stuff? Hey, dude, I'm still sweeping up the stuff. I might just be holding the.
Let me
broom a
tell you
little bit
this:
different.
when I was raised, if I held the broom wrong,
Oh yeah, you got hit with it.
oh, I got whacked with it.
Yeah.
I got whacked with it. I mean, if I held a shovel wrong, if I held a hammer wrong, I was raised in a much poorer situation.
Mm-hmm.
I was a helicopter dad for you, which was good and bad with your Asperger's. I'm still a helicopter dad.
But
But
you're also very good friends, so
Yeah.
I would take the helicopter off and make you more compadres. Though at times you have to remember you are his father and say, Blake, the stove is hot.
yeah, no, I mean, and when I was growing up, you got burnt.
Yeah.
You didn't get told the stove
Right.
is hot. You got burnt.
Well, that's I'm a big fan of object lessons.
Yeah.
absolutely,
So-
no doubt about it.
Yeah, Kenny says he's seen you fill water balloons and you soaked everybody. So
Kenny. Yeah, those water balloons sucked. He
Rebecca
knew.
says, how many times have you actually swung a hammer? You hung up some pictures in here,
I have, but
but that was a tap, tap,
I
tap.
was going to say, did you have
Okay,
any
but-
hammer?
but
Because
to
I
be
usually,
fa-
the sheetrock, you just push the nail in with your thumb into the sheetrock. I've done that for years.
To be fair, though, we have offices around this building as well, and above upstairs as well. I can't just be going bang, 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 bang.
You never
bang.
thought of that being an issue.
No, I have never thought of that as an issue.
Yeah, that one just came to you just now.
Yes.
So,
He's trying to dig his way out of the hole that he
No.
didn't dig because he was holding the shovel wrong. Poor child.
Oh, shit.
but I think they.
Okay, then, okay, then next time, then for when the deep fryer gets oil in it, do you want me to still dig the hole then?
There's certain things you should know when to shut the hell up.
Don't tell me you're living in a brownfield now.
Blake,
Come on.
you say these words out loud.
I don't know if
On the show.
If the super fund still exists to bail you out, you got to be careful there, Blake.
That's a Gen X thing. Guess who dug the hole? Blake Blevin. Guess what? I'm stopped being a helicopter dad at this point.
You're on your own, kid. All right.
So,
Too funny.
yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that next the Z's and the millennials, I think, have done their kids better than what I've seen, and I've taken care of kids my entire career. You know, and when people say kids today, the kids aren't any different. It's the parents that are different. And, you know, people used to ask me when I was in Parks and Recreation and all that, what would my dream job be? And my dream job would be coaching baseball at a school of orphans.
Okay.
All right? You'd never have to deal with the parents. You only had to deal with the kids.
But then you'd be a father figure for an entire baseball team.
I'm completely okay with that.
Good.
I mean, and Rebecca will tell you, I got
they could
kids.
do a lot worse. Trust me.
Yeah, and Blake's been around, and I've got kids all over, all different ages, all different ethnic backgrounds, all different cultures. There's some of the kids that listen to the show, and, you know, I'm okay. That's the one role I know I can do right. All right? Yeah. Even though I'm busting on myself today. But I think I still did right by Blake.
I think Blake is a fine young man. Absolutely.
By Ty. But I'm telling you, kids aren't any different from 1970 than they are today as far as the wanting to do the right thing. People want to do the right thing. It's the nature.
Yes, human nature is
the human nature of the kid is there.
Right, yeah.
It is good.
Yeah. So. But it's interesting. You know, one thing I will say is I really hope they follow through with the president's physical fitness test in grade schools and junior high school and high school, because I don't think that because of these things that we're talking about, screens and such, kids are outside running around and eating dirt and drinking from the hose. And at least if they, and I don't know if what even passes for PE in schools any longer. You know, walking around the track while you're eating an apple is not necessarily PE. But to be able to do the push-ups, the sit-ups, the squats. I mean, I had to climb that big nasty rope to the roof of the gymnasium when I was a kid. You know, vault a horse, and that was good stuff.
Did you have the pegboard?
No,
the pegboard was
pull it out. And,
pegboard was serious.
No, we didn't have that, but we did have the rope to the roof of the gymnasium. And boy, if you started slipping and were sliding back down, there were no gloves involved in this either.
No,
we're talking serious rope burn.
No, you kind of got that rash between the legs there. So, no, I mean,
but I think that's important for kids to get that kind of, you know, physical activity or understand there's parameters at least. So. No,
I agree. All right, what's our next topic? You had a good topic over there, and I've totally dominated the first 30 minutes of the show.
This is good. We were talking about education. I'm a little concerned about the current issue in Florida about taking away vaccines for students to attend public schools. Up until now, there have always been exceptions for the parents that had issue with the vaccines, whether it was on a religious issue.
It was only by religion, really.
Okay.
That's the only, you had to have a religious, that was your only real exemption.
And I'm pondering, you know, what religion would exempt you from your vaccine, but okay.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned.
And they can't ask that follow-up question.
Right, exactly. Well,
so
that's not even HIPAA. That's just, you know, just HR.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think it's a dangerous path. And I think that, in my opinion, the man who is the Surgeon General for the state of Florida is absolutely unqualified for the position. I think he bases it all on his own opinion and politics, and he has discounted science and scientific evidence. I think that is a horrible trend in the country right now, where years and years of scientific experimentation and scientific productivity is being ignored. I think Secretary of Health Kennedy got skewered today in Congress, including a senator calling him an out-and-out charlatan. And he said, charlatan, and she said, look it up, you qualify. They were going after him because of everything that he's doing. The fact that he's supporting hoaxes that these vaccines don't work. I understand his position on being an anti-vaxxer, but I don't think that's rational for the country at large. And I think that, you know what, you're going to see a lot more diseases circulating and percolating.
Well, I can tell you, and I talked about it on the show this morning, because I do have a very specific background, and because I started doing this research a lot longer ago than anyone else. I mean, at least 20 I'm going to say 21 years ago, because we got Blake diagnosed with autism when he was 3. Okay. So, you know, I started almost immediately. By the time Ty was around, and we kind of had figured out what was going on. We're still, doing the research and stuff like that. We had already given Ty the vaccines. Both Blake and Ty met every criteria, didn't qualify, that was required up until they took the vaccines. Here's my theory. I don't think I said this on the morning show. Here's my theory. Are you allergic to bees?
No.
Have you ever been stung by a bee?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people might be allergic to the bee that have never been stung by a bee. You understand that?
Right.
And I think it's a predisposed, which just is like being allergic to a bee. You're already predisposed. And a lot of these vaccines are going to have different reactions because it's something entering the body that's foreign.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, no matter
Yeah.
how many tests it's been on, it's something foreign. I think the autism and the mixture of putting everything together, they're already predisposed and they're tested individually.
Right.
But they're given as a group.
En masse. Yep.
Okay. And that to me is the autism rates. And granted, autism rates have skyrocketed more because of the changing of the criteria.
Exactly. People pay more attention.
But it is 100% an epidemic. Okay. So it's not something that needs to be ignored. It's 100% an epidemic. It is also genetically based. And people ask, how can it be genetically based if you still think the drugs affected it? Okay. It's genetically based because if you have one child that has autism, if you're the same parent, the second child has a 300% chance higher of having autism.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it just with that one stat alone, and that's a proven stat. It's genetically based first.
No.
Has anybody done research on people with autism having children and passing it on to their offspring?
That is a factor. There's a cluster around couples that have high IQs. Like if both parents have extreme high IQs, there's a very, especially in Asperger's, there's a very high number with that cluster. Like if both parents are, 140 and above,
Right.
the chances of that child having autism goes up pretty significantly.
Okay. So then would that, and I'm not going to say debunk, but would that not, what's the word conflict with your vaccine theory?
Well, and that's
Because it's another potential causation.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying they're already predisposed. All right. When that shot goes in, it triggers something else and creates it creates, like if you're allergic to a bee, what happens? You break out and you do these things. You have a negative reaction to that bee sting. So I mean, could be completely healthy. You didn't know it before.
Well, that's the
You're
thing
genetically set or predisposed for those things to affect you differently.
Well, that's the thing that drives me crazy about, you can't watch TV you can't watch commercial TV anymore without seeing 14 personal injury attorneys and their families, doing their ads. But you also can't get away without seeing new medicines and ask your doctor if Remvia or whatever it is good for you. And then the disclaimer on it is, and don't take it if you're allergic to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how the hell do you know you're allergic to these things that have been invented 20 minutes ago?
100%. You don't.
So that's just nuts.
You don't. You're
Right.
predisposed for that allergic reaction. So that's.
So your thesis is that if you have two high IQ parents have a child, that child may be more predisposed to getting autism.
Yeah.
And the vaccination is the kicker that kicks it off.
Yeah. Well, and that there's so many different clusters. But I don't think the vaccination affected Blake as much. Blake could read at age 3.
Right.
And I'm giving away information. Blake and I have talked about it on our autism
bright.
show.
He's
Blake,
a brilliant young man.
Blake could read at age 3. Blake couldn't talk until age 4 or 5.
So was he not reading? Was he reading out loud or was he reading to himself?
Out loud.
Okay.
He was reading out loud. He could read the words, but he couldn't put together a conversation. He could read Treasure Island,
Right.
but couldn't
Blake, were you comprehending the story?
Yes, I believe I was comprehending the story. I think I have like my earliest memory I have was like when I was like 3 years old, like in Disney, so I definitely like understood like the world. I definitely understood like what was going on in the book. So I definitely understood like a lot of stuff at the time. So, and then like there was like a lot of times where like my voice like when I needed to say something like important to my dad, I couldn't do it at the time.
Yeah, he couldn't. The processor was
and
on delay.
The processor had a virus.
And yeah, and
So-
and like I'm not sure if you want me to get into this, but like there was like
go ahead.
but there was like one time in 2006 where we were at our new home, then Ty ran into the retention pond, and I couldn't tell you
Wow.
that Ty went to the pond.
That must have been frightening for you, Blake.
I really couldn't comprehend at the time because
I don't think he fully understood the
I-
danger
I-
at that age. But I mean, when I went in, that's when we got the double doors at that
Yeah.
point, or double door
double
handle.
locks on the
we had,
door.
We had one up top and down low, and you had to do them both at the same time. It was a whole combination. And if you were too drunk to get out of my house, you couldn't drive home. So
All right. That's not a bad thing.
there was a lot of my friends walked right into that door. But what had happened is I was doing laundry upstairs, and we live loud. I mean, and I've always, with the boys, we've always had animals, and even today we still live loud. I don't know of a family that
Right.
lives louder than us.
Yeah.
But it got quiet, and when you're a dad, quiet's not good.
Right.
Quiet's never good. And I started yelling to Blake, "Hey, Blake!" And Blake, I think, was in the game room. We had a game room upstairs, and he was upstairs. And I thought Ty was with him. I was like, "Is Ty with you?" No. Okay. I was like, "All right, help me look." And he couldn't. You know, he said, "Hey, Dad," or something like that. He
Right.
responded to what I asked, but you know, he didn't say he left the room. He couldn't get that out. And when I went out to the garage door to the garage was open, and the garage door, it was hot. It was really hot. So I'd open it up because I was working in the garage off and on. So I'd open it up about 1.5 feet to let some air come through.
Right.
Ty had crawled out underneath that along with Meatball, and I immediately ran to where the swing set is. Ty always loved being on the swings. I think he still does. Always loved being on the swings. When I cleared the house where I could see the swing set, all I could see was his red boots from Boots the Monkey, from
Here's
Dora the Explorer.
Oh, okay.
So, but his boots were underneath the swing. So now in my mind, he's not there, just his boots. There's a pond beyond it. And I run to him, and he's standing in about waist deep of water. If he takes one more step, he's gone. Absolutely gone. The dog's right there beside him. I don't know if the dog would have saved him or not, but because he didn't know how to swim yet. Obviously, he learned how to swim the next week.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it was probably one of the most frightening moments as a parent that I've ever had.
Sure.
And I can remember every single second, not just a minute, every single second of it, getting to it. But here's the kid. I mean, if somebody would have picked him up, he wouldn't have been able to talk to him. You know, same with Blake. I mean,
Right.
you know, but I think law enforcement's gotten a little bit better about recognizing kids.
Slowly, they
You know,
are.
and I think it needs to be a part of the training, because now we're talking 1 in like 45 people. Kids now are having autism or some traits of autism.
Yep.
So
Yeah, no, it's important for law enforcement to be able to realize that it's a non-conforming situation.
yeah, but my feeling on vaccinations, back where you were talking with it, is I do believe it is the parent's choice. I think it is the parent's choice, and just the same as I feel about the abortion topic.
Right.
All right, I believe it is that woman's choice of what's in her body. Up until the kids are old enough to consent for themselves, it's the parent's choice of what's going in their body.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of religions that, you know, don't do any modern medicine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that is their choice.
Sure.
Would I make that same choice? No.
No.
But is it for me to decide? No, it's not. And I don't think it's for the government to decide either. I think it is the parent's choice.
Well, the
And I don't
issue
think-
now
and,
is
and I think that's very consistent with my feeling on abortion too. I just don't think the government should have the right to make that decision.
But they do in the fact that they make it difficult for people in certain states. So that's
they do. I agree. I agree.
But the question on vaccines nowadays is you have the vaccine deniers and the people that are just discounting the success and the science that's gone on for years. If you want to make a personal choice about that, I don't want my child to be vaccinated, fine. But the reality of it is you can't really dispute the success vaccines have had and how many lives they've saved in the last, let's say, 50 years, if not more.
No, I mean modern medicine has come a long ways. I'm not so convinced it's the vaccines as much. I do feel there's a lot of unnecessary vaccines, but I feel there's also a lot of necessary vaccines, if that makes sense. I think now the number is, if you add them all up and stuff like that, the different things they attack, it's like 36 different things that are tied up in all these shots. And it used to be when I was growing up. Now, you probably have the scar.
I don't know if I do.
You have a smallpox scar?
Little circle?
Yeah.
I just remember my sugar cube in like fourth grade.
Yeah, you got it right here. It's right there. See? And you're...
Don't go, give me that lousy blanket. I'll fight you off.
My sister and I are 2 years apart. She has it. I don't, because I didn't have to have it. Smallpox is what that was.
It's gone, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's certain diseases that we're fighting that I don't think it's necessary to fight.
Well, until they rear their ugly head again, all of a sudden polio was completely eradicated, and now it's happening in Africa, and I don't know if it's happening in the United States.
There's a total of, I believe there's a total of like 30 something cases worldwide
of polio.
Yeah,
okay. That's
a major initiative of Rotary.
Good.
So Sierra Leone, I think, is one of the ones that had a breakout. I mean, it's a number that's completely, and it's very isolated where it is. So, that's now just a drop on the tongue.
The polio vaccine. Yeah, polio. We got a sugar cube, man.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah. That's just a drop.
A whole lot of sugar cube.
It's just it's just an eyedropper, basically one drop on the tongue, and it's in there.
Yeah.
So.
And that's great because also there's an economic component to this because trying to mitigate or medicate for polio, and I think medicate's probably the wrong word, but to do corrective action after the fact, or to, I don't even know the word I'm looking for, to just work on curing it or prevent it, is so much more expensive than the vaccination, because the vaccination is successful. So,
there was one question I did want to ask you about, which is like, so when like a parent has a first child with autism, the odds of having a second child with autism rises up to 300%. In that same study, did it also say if that second child also has autism compared to the first child, is there like a likelihood that they is like deeper on the spectrum per se, or like there wasn't any studies about that?
I don't think I dug that deep into it. It's just that the chances of that happening, and here's the other component. When it does happen, your height and awareness of it go up tremendously.
Yeah. So
that has to skew it a little bit. Because there's a lot of people out there that are autistic and never been tested.
Right.
But I can look at them and go, on the spectrum. And
the spectrum is very broad nowadays.
But there's certain things in STEMs that kids do and adults do, where you go, yeah, they're there, and you just, I mean, as a parent who's lived with it and our families live with it, I can look at Blake and go, he's stemming. He's like, and a stem is, if you don't know what a stem is, they used to be called blindisms. Okay. You know how Ray Charles would rock?
Oh yeah.
That's a stem.
Okay.
So that's a stem, and or do this, and but he would when he was talking, he'd rock into it, and a lot of blind people would do that. That's actually a stem. That's calming their body. So, and autistic kids usually have one very specific stem. Blake, I don't know if you want me to share your stem or not.
Go ahead.
Blake, how he calms himself, even as a man today, and it started when he was 3. He runs back and forth and hums, and it's how he calms his body. Ty actually will hit himself in the chest, or has chirps that are very aggressive and very scary to people that aren't familiar with it. But it's how he can't verbalize to get the words out that he wants to get out. I mean, Blake's
got to be frustrating.
Blake's amazing where he was at when he was 3. Okay, he's absolutely amazing on he can be in front of a camera every single day, and every once in a while you'll catch his stutter.
Yeah,
but if he's locked in and knows the subject, the stutter's not there.
Yeah,
right.
It just comes down to like confidence for me. Like if I know, like, okay, here's what I want to talk about, like right now, like I can say it well, but it was just like coming up like with stuff like on the fly for like traffic report, like let's say the traffic report, or just like making like a funny comment, like I might be like hesitant or might say the wrong thing at the wrong time. Then that's when I get the questionable look from my dad.
Yeah,
it's funny you're talking about rock.
Sometimes his filter's not right about digging holes with oil. I don't know where he got that. I don't know where he got that
you
from.
Know what? He's just making stuff up for content.
That was his.
He's just making stuff up.
That was his Asperger's.
But I remember, and I hadn't thought about this for years. When I was a kid, 5th, 6th grade, I would sit there in my chair and I would rock, and so would Michael DeLaurie. And both of us ended up on the Long Beach City Council 20 years apart, but nonetheless. But I would just sit there and rock to the point that, I was online. I remember this vividly online at the A&P with my mother, and I was there, and I'm just, kind of rocking back and forth online, waiting to go to the cash register to pay for the
Hold still.
There was a lady in back of me said, "Could you stand still? You're making me seasick." I remember that. Yeah. So, yeah. So,
but I mean, that was a calming mechanism, and that's a stem. And a lot of people, I mean, and you don't have to have be on the spectrum to have a stem. I mean, some people use different things to calm themselves down, but a lot of people, when they see it, they're like, "Oh, that's not normal. We're going to stop that behavior." It's probably the worst thing you can do for somebody who's trying to actually balance themselves in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I don't think for those normies out there, the neurotypical people, which, I don't have any of those in my house.
Right.
So
neurodivergent.
Yeah. I don't have any neurotypicals in my house. So, we kind of all accept our differences in a lot of different ways. Sure. So
makes life interesting and certainly fun. So. Maybe challenging as well, I would say, but still. Yeah.
Yeah. And boys to girls, autism is about 4 to 5 to 1. More boys to girls. Yeah. And a lot of times the girl sibling has a lot of stress on them, because even at a very young age, they see that as a responsibility, their sibling being a responsibility later on in life, and they already start taking on that burden early. And that's a very frightening number that, a lot of people, when you have an autistic son and a daughter close to the same age, you got to make sure you're keeping an eye on that.
Yeah.
Because depression's a factor. A lot of things where girls going through teenage years are already a problem, and that's an added burden that they take upon themselves. So, I mean, it's one of those things you got to really keep an eye on. So.
And the information is more available now than, let's say, 20 years ago, probably even maybe 10 years ago, but certainly 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, kids are getting autistic children on the spectrum are getting mainstreamed in school, which is good. They're getting socialization if they can and do that successfully. It's better for their quality of life. It's better for the family's quality of life. But it's a challenge. And, with schools cutting back, it used to be one-on-one, and they'd put a child with an aide in a classroom to, socialize or, get them Mainstream just is the word.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know.
Yeah, and Ty was in a lot of mainstream classes, but one of the hardest things as a parent of a child with any type of handicap
Difference, yeah.
is the acceptance of the dad.
Okay.
A lot of times the mom overcompensates and forgets she's a wife, and the dad tries to ignore it and he forgets he's a dad. So those are the two complete different reactions from mom to dad.
Yeah.
And if they're not working as a team, then it's the worst possible scenario for the kids, because that's going to cause the split, which causes an inconsistency, which causes a lot of
more pressure.
financial
Yeah.
burden,
Yeah.
because there is a little bit of financial burden, and a lot of people would think the divorce rate would be higher with having a handicapped child. It's the exact same. That number is the exact same. It's still about 50%. The only number that's if you with gay marriage coming into play,
Right.
A man and a woman is about 50%. A man to a man, the divorce rate, they stay together about 75% of the time. Very nice, high rate.
Mm-hmm.
Woman to woman is almost 2 to 1 to man to woman. Their success rate's about 25 to 35%.
Yeah. And,
woman to woman being married.
And another thing about I do want to mention about the LGBT and autism though is I've noticed there's been a lot of people that have Asperger's and autism that also LGBT as well. Has been have you seen if there's any official numbers about that as well?
Yeah, and those numbers are high, and I have a theory about that too. Is a lot of the BT, LN, whatever the initials are. I'm not trying to be offensive at all.
Right. It's just hard to keep up with them.
Overall, they see themselves as being different, so they're more accepting.
Okay.
And I think a lot of Asperger's see themselves as being different, and they go to they're attracted to certain people. I mean, no one wants to not be loved.
Correct.
And if you're not accepted by a particular group, I think you find yourself you'll find a group that wants to accept you, and that group is so accepting of differences in all aspects. I wish all of human nature could be as accepting as the group that probably gets beat up the most.
Yeah.
But it's that group is more accepting, and I think when you're looking to be accepted,
mm-hmm.
I think that group sometimes checks a lot of boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think being gay or lesbian? I do believe you're born with that trait. I don't think it's something where you're like, I'm going to be gay today.
Right.
I just don't think that's
right.
the way it is. And I have several friends, very close friends,
mm-hmm.
and we've had deep conversations about it. But I think the acceptance portion of that group allows, like Blake was saying, the Asperger's
mm-hmm.
and the autism, because they're accepted with all their quirks,
right.
and they're not looking to try and change them.
Right.
So, where in mainstream society,
you want to they want you to conform.
They want you to conform and fit in.
Exactly.
And this is the line you have to stand in,
right.
and you have to stand in wearing these shoes, not those,
mm-hmm.
and that's where we go back to education.
In South Korea, they're all wearing the exact same thing. They're all in uniform, and they're all in lockstep. No doubt about it.
And that's where I'm saying, still a lot of the inventions and creations are coming out of more free countries than countries like that.
Yeah.
So,
well,
they're great at stealing technology.
Right. State-controlled countries, they just want it for themselves,
mm-hmm.
and they're not going to bother doing it. They're going to wait for somebody to do it, and they're going to take it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been a problem for years.
So, all right. We didn't even get to one of you. I'm sorry, Lenny.
No, Troy, this was fabulous.
Yeah.
I think this was one of our better shows in a long time. We had a lot of thoughtful discussion. I appreciate both you and Blake being very personal about this, because a lot of people wouldn't be as forthcoming, and I think it's important for people to hear it from the the horse's patootie, so to speak.
All right.
You know?
And Bobby, I just want to be clear. He asked, can we ask if you believe if sperm donors have any participation in the decision? And I'm assuming you're talking about a father, not an actual sperm donor in a sperm bank. I think you're talking about an actual father if he has a decision in it. And I think he has an opinion, but I think it's her body. So, and I know a lot of people feel that a lot of different ways. And I've heard comedians talk about, well, if she's made the decision to have the baby and I chose not to, then I shouldn't be responsible for the child support and stuff like that also involved. So that's a real tough one.
Yeah,
but
hard.
in my opinion, Bobby, and it's just 100% my opinion, her body, her decision, and it's a very tough situation if the man wants to keep the baby and the woman chooses not to.
Oof, that's even harder.
But it's still her decision, and that's my personal opinion. So
yeah, I mean, it's easier to support that the woman wants to terminate the pregnancy and the father doesn't, because she's the one who has to do everything, and there's no guarantee that he's sticking around.
Exactly.
So it's her child forever. You know, whether or not he was the father.
Yeah, tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Right.
So I mean, and there, yeah. So I mean, but that's my personal opinion. If I don't know if that's the way you were asking that question.
He was, yeah. Bobby just said he meant the baby daddy.
Yeah. So, and I think I answered it the way you intended me to answer it.
Right. Which is, look, and the first time a man, I remember the old Joan Rivers, Billy Crystal movie, The Rabbit Test, where Billy got pregnant.
Yeah.
At that point in time, it just put everything on its head. So, once men start carrying, progeny, there's a whole different conversation. And I don't think we're quite there yet.
We're not.
So.
We're not. But great show.
Yeah.
And I love everyone's talking points and participation. Thank you, Josh and Bobby and Rebecca and Kenny and all you guys out there. I think we had some fun conversations. Hopefully I was able to hit some of the things, and Lenny, you were able to hit some of the things.
Yeah, no.
So,
the Surgeon General got off easy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No. I mean, and like I said, I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion of where they're at, and that's the beauty of living here.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of people are very angry in the country right now, but you know what? We're allowed to have those conversations. So,
I'll leave that judge's quote alone, but that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Blake, you got anything back there that we need to throw in before we sign off for the week?
Hey, Blake, what are you doing this evening?
8:00 tonight, The Reaction.
There you go.
All right. Way to feed it right to him.
I was spoon feeding. I was like, okay, is he in there?
Yes, I am. Hi.
And if you don't know what The Reaction is, guys, it is a watch party with Blake. Blake is going to be watching the game. If you want to watch it with him, you watch the game. You can comment with him the entire time. Bring your other friends in, and that way you have an open commentary while watching the game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So, you all right?
All right, we good?
I think we're good. Blake, you good?
Yes, we're good.
It's football weekend.
Good luck tonight, Blake. We do need sponsors for The
College
Reaction
and pros.
for Blake.
And you guys can definitely email me at blake904now@gmail.com. That is blake904now@gmail.com.
There you go. Good plug, Blake. Thank you, guys. Thank you to all our sponsors. If you get a chance to get out there and just say thank you to them and support them, that's a wonderful thing. It goes a long way, and we're just so appreciative to live in a city. And today is Happy 904 Day.
Baby, how did we not think of that? You must have on the morning show.
I had it on the morning show, and I put a little post out there. So Happy 904 Day.
At least you're wearing the shirt, Lenny.
Yeah, you have the shirt on.
Right here, baby.
I didn't wear one all day long.
Right here somewhere.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
Have a great weekend and enjoy the football.